Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another week of Growing with my fellow growers. As you can tell, this is Jack Greenstock coming from a different location today. I'm in the car on my way home from Champs trade show. Got to meet Johnny Caniseed and Ty Sticks out there, so shout out to those guys. I'll give you guys some updates on that next week when I get back. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Spartan Grown and the rest of the crew who are going to hold it down for this week. And I will catch you all next week. Peace and love, everybody. And here's Spartan Grown.
Hello, everybody. I'm Spartan Grown. You can find me on Instagram at Spartan Grown, all one word, no spaces. Otherwise, you could shoot me an email at spartangrown@gmail.com or russ@gmlarmy.com, and I can help you with all of your growing or lighting questions. And I guess I'll pass it over to my buddy Tao to introduce himself.
Sorry, yeah, Spartan. You caught me off guard. I was in chat and yeah. All right. I am the American one on the YouTube and the American one underscore with underscore Akeens over on the IG. It's always good to be here, and I'm glad I made it this week. And that being said, welcome in chat, and I'll pass it over to Noah the Grower.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Noah the Grow on Instagram. You can find me there, and I'm here probably about 45 weeks out of the year, and happy to be here. Maybe I'll go in my grow room as I'm doing time to time, and yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, man, he didn't give us a topic or nothing. We just get to do whatever we want. What's going on new? What's new in your guys' grow room? What are you excited about?
Well,
I
got. Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No.
I don't have a whole lot new going on. Just constantly running the same four strains right now. I'm trying to dial in this permanent marker. This is my second run with it. No, I got a third. The way it cycles, I got a third one in, and the third one in already is I'm seeing a little bit more improvement in the yield. It looks like I'm probably about I don't know 5.5 weeks from 12 flip. Permanent marker. It's a really good strain. I mean, it's very stony, tastes
I was
good
gonna
and
say,
stuff.
tell me about that because I haven't had a chance to try permanent marker. I've heard about it a lot, but how does it grow, and how do you like the high and the smoke of it?
All that is great. The smoke is good. The flower is really good. It's kind of a lower yielder. I've been experimenting with it. One of them I've just let like 4 or 5 main like branches come out, and then the other ones I kind of like will take the plant and just kind of bend it and then push it up into a net and then just spread it out and constantly tuck stuff. I'm still 50-50 on which one is going to improve the yield. To me, it looks like it needs a larger root ball for me personally, for my grow and the way that I backlog veg my plants and all that. So I'm just experimenting with that. I actually haven't even put it in a 7 yet. It's just been in 5s, but I think it would probably do better with a 7.
Do you think you'd have to do an extra veg too if you're putting it in a bigger pot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It looks like it needs a little longer to veg. Yeah, it looks like everything is just a little longer. The flower time is right around 63 days, 9 weeks. I actually pushed this last one due to circumstances in my house. I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna be able to do it on day 63, so I pushed it to day 65, I think, this last run. And like some of the lower buds, which I trim my skirts up pretty high, but some of the lower buds seem to be a little bit more finished than the last one before it. I don't know if that light, like the lights on the side don't get the side lighting in my room, so it's not quite as same underneath. I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into every spot of your grow room, and as you go with it, you kind of figure it out as you go. But I would recommend it. It's stable. Like I said, that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to low stress it and see if it's going to have herm or anything. I haven't had anything with that. If I see any herms, it's gone. Like I just can't do that. I don't have time for that. I gotta have something that's going to be able to scrog, maybe maybe I'm lazy in my bedroom and I don't fertilize it at all for like a week or two. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what is their stretch like? Like, is it a decent stretch or a bolt or whatever you want to call it when you go from into flower those first couple of weeks? Does it stretch a lot so you can fill the scrog easy, or is it something that you don't have a lot of stretch to play with there?
well, so it depends on it, and that's where I'm. That's a great point, and that's exactly what I'm like experimenting right now. And I give my plants like a little bit of like a silica during that 2 weeks to kind of stop it from stretching. But you're right. It almost looked like I did it too much because like it didn't quite fill it up, especially like right now. Like I'll show you whenever I go in my room. My one light is I just got like a half a plant, the bottom half, so I just left it in there to kind of get like some more finishing done on it because it was just a little, the hairs weren't dark and just different signs. But I don't have anything to put in there right now, just because one time I was 1 week, I didn't clone when I was
Yeah.
supposed to, so I'm like a week behind, and I did that. I pushed it early in the first one, and it didn't, and they were still like 2 feet, but it wasn't quite, where it needed to be. So, but yeah, I would recommend it. I'd recommend it. It's a lower yielder, kind of mid low.
But it makes up for it, the smoke, you say?
The smoke is good, really good. Yeah, you dig it.
That's dope. That's cool.
Yeah,
And that's always important.
I got some new things that I planted some Bruce Banner #3 by Cheesequake, and I won the Bruce Banner. They were from seed that I won on some when the California fires happened. They had like an auction for seeds,
Yep,
and so like I
auction.
tried finding more out about them. All I know is they came from Colorado, and it wasn't from a clone or anything, but that was so I have some of those started. That shit was good though. That Bruce Banner #3 I hit with the Cheesequake male pollen. So I'm going to try some of those. I have about 10 of those going, and then I have my buddy. I went to Massachusetts when I was in New York and got a cutting from a Massachusetts dispensary called Lemon OG by Hayes, and I got a cut of that at one point, and it accidentally got pollinated, but I don't know what male pollinated it, but I know it was a real male. It wasn't a herm, so I saved
So
the
you
seeds
grew
of
out
it.
that lemon OG times haze. You grew some of that?
Yeah, I grew
What
that.
was
That
that
plant
like?
was
That
a
sounds
monster.
awesome.
Yeah, dude, that thing was a monster yielder, and it grew quick. Um, and it was good. It got you fucking stoned. So,
Right.
but I don't have that anymore. That was like a one-time run that I did, just to check it out. But it got
Yeah.
seeded, and I saved all them seeds. So I popped I think I had about 12 of those, and then I started some of my Godiva seeds because those I'm running low on, and I'm gonna re-investigate those and see maybe I could make an F2. I don't know. I want to see what's in those though. I love that weed, so I want to find that one that I love. It was like a round-headed, chunky monster. I have pictures of it on my IG. But yeah, those are some that I got going right now. So they're new, not except for the Godiva. The other ones are all new. I haven't grown out any of the Bruce Banner #3 by Cheesequake, but other people have. And there was some great specimens, and then someone did get herms on that. So I didn't send out too many of those, and I warned everybody about them. But that was only like one or two. So like, yeah, I don't even know. Maybe they had something to do with it, but we'll find out. So yeah, that's
Well,
what I
when you're
got going
making,
on right now.
so you're going with you've popped some Godiva F2s. What were you, would you like select for in the F1s to make those F2s?
No, I'm thinking about making an F2. Yeah, I just have the Godiva by Cheesequake is what that is. I mean, Godbud from Jordan of the Island by Cheesequake. And so I think I got 8 of those up. But yeah, I just want some of that to smoke. And so from now on, if I see anything that's really good, I'll take cuts and keep it. But that's only if something really, special pops up. But I don't have the Godbud or the Cheesequake male anymore, for that matter. Yeah.
What about that
So
chocolate from DNA? You gonna get into that?
I'm gonna get into that. Like after these seeds get through, and I tweak the tent and grow area a little more, and yeah. So now I have the grow. I have a 4x4 tent thing I'm flowering, and I have like 4 closets that I'm going to utilize. I have 2 of them going right now. but I think I'm gonna put up another tent or maybe two. And yeah, once I know I have like a space that's really dialed in or more, a little bit more dialed in, it's good right now, but I want to get it so I don't have to worry about anything. I want to start up some chocolates, all the chocolate. I have 2 packs of the chocolate from DNA. I got chocolate cookies that seed person gifted me, and I have 2 other ones. I don't know what the names are, but I have to find them. I have them set, put aside somewhere. That other people have gifted me that I'm going to check out for that chocolate. But yeah, that's going to be coming soon for sure. Knock on wood. The good Lord willing.
That's all right. That's cool, man. That'd be cool to see. I don't have anything really super new going in my garden. I do have my orange vortex that I've created. I've starting to hunt through that a little bit, see what I can find. I got a female going in the flower room, but it's so early to tell on anything. It's like, who knows what that's going to be. Um, so I'm excited for that one. And I'm trying to think, do I have anything? No, I have a vortex going in there, and I have a Mac 1 going in there. I just have a lot of tried and trues that I like going in my flower room right now. Um, but the orange vortex is the newest one that I have in there, but I'm gearing up to turn on another light in my flower room because I want to do just a run for fresh frozen to make some concentrate because I'm running low on concentrate, and I've never had concentrate with the one of my early strains that I made called Bliss Bud, which is like a sour D cross to a sour strawberried, which is a pineapple Thai and a I don't know what the other thing is now. Sour diesel, I believe. Um, so whatever all that is, I call it Bliss Bud because it's just another one of those my happy weeds, And it does it's just very, very gassy like sour D. And so I want to see what that's like with fresh frozen in concentrate form. So I'm going to dedicate a whole light to that and try to harvest at least a good amount, at least a pound, hopefully, and get a bunch of concentrate. So that's my next thing I want to do. It's good to have friends that can make concentrates for you, so you can like I don't. I mean, I love watching the process and I love the result of it, but I hate actually doing like bubble wash. I've done it once or twice in my life, and I hated the process. I love smoking the bubble hash. I'll smoke the hell out of it, but I just don't like the work of it. And you just needed somebody with a passion that like loves doing that because otherwise I can see where that becomes a chore and I cut corners and not do, the best job, I suppose. So I know that about myself. So I I make sure I know somebody who will do it and likes doing it. So we're just going to use the same guy that we use at Strike Forge. We're going to actually just throw it in with one of our orders, basically. So it's not even a big deal at all. I'm excited for that. But I still got to get planted. They're still in veg right now, so I still got a ways to go before I'll be seeing the fruits of that labor. But I don't know. I'm happy to be in a time in my state anyway where a lot of people, a lot of home growers anyway, are shutting down lights or sizing down. I'm kind of turn on a light. So it makes me feel happy to be able to do so. I feel blessed, honestly, in my area.
About the same here. A lot of people are shutting down, a lot of grow equipment for sale. And yeah, it's interesting. If you can grow really good weed, you'll probably be all right. So
That's the thing. It's like as long as you have that quality, it's like it seems, there's still gonna be people wanting that and wanting that quality. Nobody that I know of, and on my neck of the woods anyway, has said, "Hey, I can get it cheaper at the dispo." It's like, yeah, you can get it cheaper. You can get something else cheaper at the dispo, but you can't get this at the at the dispo. Uh, and if you're able to, like you said, you said it best. If you can bring the quality, then you don't have a lot to worry about. There's always going to be a market for the upper tier stuff. It's just a matter of finding the people, finding those people. I think like us, we're lucky because we're in those circles. We're hanging in those circles already.
absolutely.
I've been finding out even if you don't make the best of the best, it's still better than what a lot of people can get. And yeah, like
Yeah, exactly.
I gave a sample like that, but I mean it worked and stuff, but it's it wasn't real, it wasn't the best of the best. And people came out like, damn man, that shit was the best. I was like, all right, I could probably get you more. People were asking for it, so that's totally cool.
That's the thing that always is I don't want to say it's shocking to me, but I mean it surprises me and it like brings me back to reality a little bit, I guess, is that perfect example is like I'd given my son some weed over the over the holidays, and he said to me, he came back later, and I'd said to him, you know, he'd come back a couple weeks later, visit or whatever, and I said, hey, how'd that go over? Everything was good because he was going to a party, and he was like, yeah, dude. He's like, every time he goes, I go over there, you know, we have a party or whatever, and people come over, they'll say, do you have your dad's weed? Because because when he comes over with it, they said that it's like as strong as dabs. It's ridiculous. It's not what you can get, you know, at the dispos. It's different. And to me, that's like a feather in my head as a home grower that's not, you know, doing anything crazy special. And to be able to have like that kind of reputation with his friends, like so that's like a third party testing to me, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not even there to hear it. And get that kind of review, that just always makes me feel better. It makes me feel good about myself. But also when you go to the dispo and see what's available, you're like, "Oh, I don't know if how much of a compliment that was." That's a good point too. Abolished in chat says the location helps a lot. It seems like the further you get out of a city, the more people you find not looking for the cheapest, at least in Michigan. Maybe there's some connection with people that live outside in the cities and more into the organic kind of produce in every form, not just cannabis. So it would make sense if they were more interested in organic cannabis too, and maybe somebody in the city not being so interested. That's an interesting thought. I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know that I've ever been asked by anybody that I've ever sold any cannabis to or given cannabis to if it was organic or not.
Yeah, me neither. I've asked plenty of people, what they know about their cannabis, and most of them didn't know how it was grown. Like I asked the dispensaries too, whatever. Yeah,
I asked the dispenser, have you ever had an answer? When I ask the dispensaries, they don't even know about
yeah,
how,
they pretty much said no, but yeah, they none of it's labeled organic that I saw anyway. But
yeah,
yeah, people have told me though, the one person that I give to some that I grew here in Pennsylvania, they're like, yeah, that stuff is like smooth. It doesn't make me smoke like all the other shit. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah. I'm like, that's probably because everybody, even if the dispensary or not, are just pumping it with nutrients to the very end because they want to make as much as they can to make as much money. And that's what their concern is.
Well, a lot of times too, it's like you're giving them too much credit. You know, a lot of times it's somebody who doesn't really know a lot about growing and they're just following the bottle, and they're not, you know, they're giving the full strength and
Right,
feeding
right.
all the way up to the end. So there's still a lot of Chads and Brads and Karens and whatever else you want to call it out there growing cannabis too that just don't know any better. They're just following a formula on the back of a bottle. That's hilarious. See, person one says, made a comment in chat. It says, laugh out loud from weeds. Is that vegan weed? Because if meat even touches it, I can't smoke it. Well, I think it's been harvested by meat. That's all the humans are on meat. So under those conditions, you're gonna have a hard time smoking cannabis. I would like one day to maybe get have you guys yeah, Jack knows about it. The Herbs Now guy. I'd like to get him on here and speaking of harvesting cannabis and really get the reasoning behind what, you know, why his machine works the way it does and you know, the science behind it because I just had him on the Let's Be Buds show a couple
Yeah,
weeks
that was a
ago.
good one.
Yeah, but we still never really got that answered. Like, and I am kicking myself for not asking him, and I'm not really sure how to ask the question. Just basically, how does your machine work? You know, I don't want him to give away his maybe he's not willing to give away, you know, because then it could be copied easier. But like, is it operating off a dew point? Is it operating off of what? Just temperature and humidity? Um, I'd be interested to see, but he never did share. Like he said he had test results of this and that, but he never really, I don't know. I want to see more. I want to see more results. I wish Jack was here to talk about it. Because that's
Well,
fresh in my mind.
he did say there wasn't there two settings for heat temperature for temperature anyway.
Yeah, because the one setting was it all depends on like think of the area around the machine as a long.
Right, right.
So it's like depending on if you're in a really dry
Cold.
environment or a really humid environment, you'd have a different setting for each.
Yeah, if it's really cold or really warm.
Or maybe cold and warm, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, if you think about it, if it's really cold, it's going to be really low humidity out there because cold air won't hold
Yep.
a lot of moisture. I says a 10-degree swing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it's big enough for, I'll have to ask Jack if he can put a whole plant in there or if it's filled after.
I have a book from I think it was the 80s that they like described what they did. It was Trichome Technologies, and they put the shit in an 80-degree room for 3 days, pretty much, and then they yeah, and then that was their gig. Actually, I could probably find it. I don't know where it is now.
80 degrees. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's weird how yeah, it's still evolving. I'd say the perfect drying conditions and curing procedures.
Well, I mean, look at tobacco, man. They let try that pretty heavy procedures, but
Yeah,
they're mixing a bunch of shit together too. Okie Grower asked me in chat, what would I pick? This is a good question. I'll ask you guys too. This is a good question. If you were going to grab a clone, what would you get between GG4, Mac 1, or GMO? So for me, if I had that as a pick and I didn't have any plants at all, I'd take GG4 because it's awesome medicinal, an awesome smoke. I love the flavor of it. And it was always a good yielder for me. Mac 1, I love the smoke. It's one of my all-time favorite smokes, but it's a fucking pain in the ass to grow and it takes forever to veg. So it's got some downsides. And GMO is not my favorite flavors, but it's a very good potent smoke and awesome yielder. It just takes a little bit longer to get to the end on that one. So that's why I would pick GG4. What do you guys say?
I don't have experience with any of them really. I might have did a cross with one or two of them, but yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I think you said it pretty well, Spartan. That I mean, I haven't grown Mac 1, but I mean, I take your word for it. But the other two I have grown. I'd probably go GG4 too, uh, and then just try and build on it. Either get
Yeah.
some seeds or go to another clone place. But if I was taking a clone from somebody else, my advice would be just to pretend that you have something, and just I would just treat it preventively right off the bat. So because it just seems like at least 50% of the time you're going to run into problems, and it's going to be easier to treat it when it's small.
Yeah, I love it. Clone or cutting size, you
Yeah,
can dip that. It's just a whole plant dip. That's
yeah, right
100%
away.
coverage, man.
Hmm.
I'll t
Chestnuts makes a good point. Why not take all three of them? He says he's got all three of those cuts. There you go.
Yeah, take all three. I've grown all three of those, but I've never had all three in the grow at the same time. That's for sure. I haven't done that. I had GG4 first of those three, then I had GMO, then I had uh, Mac 1. I still hold Mac 1. I don't hold either. Well, we have GMO at the Trichome Forest,
You
but
think Mac 1 is the best smoke out of the three?
yeah, like if I just had jars, 3 jars of those sitting in
Hmm.
front of me, I'd be grabbing that Mac and they're like smoke whichever one you want. I'm grabbing that Mac 1 first.
Well, that goes back to that point I was talking about earlier. So then that's the one I would advise on. I'm always after the best smoke. That's going to always give you a leg up on it on everything. I mean,
Yeah,
if
but
I'm going
like
to work hard,
if you're full production or something like that, Mac 1 might give you a leg behind somebody else because you've got to veg for, this is how crazy Mac 1 was. Like we brought it into commercial setting when growing at Mitten Canico. And at the time, we were just building out the flower rooms, and we had, I think it was 6 total flower rooms. So in the very first flower room, we're just using that for a veg room at first. So we put our veg plants in there, and then we started building out the first flower room. And after we built out the first flower room, we made sure the veg had enough plants vegged out to go into that first flower room. So the first when we brought in the veg, we brought in Mac 1 with some other clones and started vegging them out into moms. Um, Long story short, by the time we were built out the last flower room 6, and we'd filled out all the other flower rooms with other plants, Mac 1 was finally big enough to go into the fucking flower room that we started before we started any of the other flower rooms. And we put it into, we finally got it into flower in the last flower room. So it just took like twice as long as the other plants to veg.
From root to flip, how long is that? 2.5 months or
Yeah,
longer?
dude, I don't even remember, but yeah, like 2 months. I'd say like 2 months.
Could you make it quicker? Like, there's nothing to make it faster?
Well, we tried, that was another thing. We were trying different like watering rates. Like, does it like to get dry? Does it like to not get dry? So doing that like experimentation also slowed it down probably a little bit while we were fucking around with it. And we really never did find out one way or another when it came to that. But
Right.
it's just one of those plants is once you got it into flower, it just takes right off and becomes, beautiful and it's fine. But like in veg, it's just like if you give it, if it gets a little bit of root bound, it gets to be shitty. It has really tight node spacing, so you have to get in there and do a little extra cleaning out. Otherwise, you'll have no airflow. Um, so it's like what I would call like a designer plant or something, or a
And then on top
supermodel
of
plant,
that, it's hard to seed, from what I understand, huh?
What's that?
It's hard to make seeds with the Mac one. Is that the one, or is it the?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to make seeds. It's
See, because that sounds like a perfect candidate for a cross to make it better, you know. But if it doesn't get, if it's hard to make
yeah,
seeds,
yeah,
that's
that's another
another
thing.
problem.
There's
Yeah.
there's definitely crosses of it. So I mean, I don't know if he used different phenos than the Mac
Right.
1 cut to make those crosses, or somebody else was able to do back crossing or something and maybe get some pollen off of it. But but yeah, it's definitely, I love the smoke, and it's very potent. It always for me it's like narcotic, so it's a good relaxing one, and a unique kind of flavor, one that I haven't really tasted in other cannabis. And I really like it. I really enjoy it. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever smoked, but it's my favorite right now at this time. And probably the best I've ever smoked was a salad joint of it, where I took that and I took a nug of Mac 1 and I took a nug of Trop Cherry, which is kind of another love it or hate it strain as far as flavors go. Very strong flavor. And so I just took a nug of each and put it in the grinder and blended them together and made it and rolled the joint of that and smoked it. And I think that was the best thing I've ever smoked flavor wise ever. It was just, I loved it. Testneck says he has Mac 1 version 2 males in week 3 now that he hunted. Cheddar Bob's asked me in chat if I've grown the cherry pie. I have not. Have you, anybody, you guys grown the cherry pie?
That.
I heard that was a good one. I know that was one of Jack's that he likes a lot. I think the thing I've heard about cherry pies is pretty famous, or maybe I've misheard, but pretty famously hermaphrodites easily. And because of that, I've kind of avoided it.
Never grown straight cherry pie, but I've grown cherry pay crosses, and they will. I've never had it herm, but I've had it throw bananas. I mean, I'm sure you guys know what that means. Just little, here and there. And in all the crosses, I had a platinum cut that was they had it. They would throw bananas, and I loved that cut. The weed was so good, but it was just a low yielder and a finicky cloner, like everything. It was just like after a while, it just kind of got to be a lot of work. So, but yeah, the crosses of it that I've had, the quality's been pretty good.
What does it take for you guys to like consider to bring something into your garden? Because like for me, outside of being a seed that I have, that's a different story. But like a clone, like my buddies, my grow buddies say, "Hey, have you tried this new cut?" Or my grow buddies have that cut and are talking it up. What does it take for you to hear from them, or maybe does it take trying it, obviously, to say, okay, I'm gonna get, I would like a cut of that. Because for me, I'm not really trying to bring new genetics into my garden a lot because I have seeds that I want to get through. But if I have a buddy that's like, this is the best weed I ever smoked, or you got to try this, blah blah blah, then I'll try the weed, and if I like it, I'll grab a cut. What do you, or are you guys pretty strict and don't even take cuts then?
Well, I'm strict now because, like I said, I ran into thrip, and that was a BS. But and it was from a clone. But that's the cool thing about being surrounded by growers is one of the first things I want to see is what do you got in your pocket? You know what I'm saying? What are you smoking? Because if a grower is smoking it, a good grower that knows, like I have my buddy that showed me how to grow. You know what I mean? Like, and he still grows. So it's like when he says something, I pay attention. And that's actually why I got the Sherbaceo cut, and I love it. So that's a big deal for me. But like, so obviously, and you ask them how is it once they not then I go from there. I back, okay, so now how does it grow? Tell me how it veges. You know what I mean? How long does it take to flower? What's the yield? Then I start asking them those questions. But the first thing I want to see is what are you smoking? That's the other thing. So it's like, you know, if and another thing is if guys like talking about a cut, I always thought that was funny. Guys talking about a cut, and then you go in his grow room and he hasn't got it. Oh, I cut it because of this whole Rick Raff about it. I'm not interested at all. You know what I mean? So it matters what you're growing and what you're smoking. If you're a good grower, then I respect your opinion. I go off of that.
What about you, Todd? What makes you take that chance on a cut?
Well, I don't have anybody offering me cuts pretty much. That one that I was telling you about, that lemon OG haze, that was my buddy. I don't know if I told you. When I was at my one spot, the lady's like, "I'm selling the house. You got to move out." So I had no place to put all my plants. Tried and tried to get this kid to take in a couple cuts and just keep him alive under fluorescent light. He wouldn't do it. So I put them all out in the woods, and yeah, that was I put them out there like it was like July 30th when I put them outside in the woods, and I had an incredible harvest off of that. That was like crazy, but I think he felt guilty. So when I ended up getting into my new spot, he was buying me seeds. Like, well, plus he liked getting different weeds all the time, but he was buying me tons of seeds, and I was just like going through seeds, different shit that he was getting me. So he's the one that he ended up getting a little tent for his house and growing shit at his place. So he ended up going to Massachusetts and getting a couple cuts, and that's how I ended up with that lemon OG cross haze cut that I had in my tent. But other than that, I'm not interested in having what everybody else has. I want, something that is different and unique. Or like I'm saying, it I am intrigued now because when I did grow out that lemon OG by Hayes, it was like a monster. So I can understand how a dispensary, when they get a cut, it's probably like the best cut of that particular strain. You know, it would definitely hunt it through a ton of whatever. It's definitely going to be good, or else they wouldn't be wasting their time on it. So I would think about considering taking in a cut to make a cross with it. But other than that, yeah, I don't want what everybody else has, right? That's like, yeah, that doesn't excite me. So that's where I'm at on
So,
the clones
so
and all
there's
that.
no, yeah, I guess I'm with you because like whatever the next best thing is, whatever it could be. I'm more interested in if my buddy's grown it, I'll just try it and see what I think of it. And then
Right.
I don't have to grow that, but yeah, I would like to have
And then
something.
again, that's how like when you a lot of times if you taste weed and you like it, that's when you want to get the seed of that weed.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
guess if
that's the
it's a
thing. That's the
clone and
thing is like if I
yeah,
taste it, my buddy or so and so or whatever, I could be at an event and somebody I've just met that day hands me something new and it's an intriguing flavor. It's like I want that because I want to see what I can do. Can I grow that and make it express any
right,
differently? Yeah, for sure,
yeah,
man. I'm excited. I'm getting excited for the winter to be over because it's so fucking cold and snowy up here right now. And I'm excited to for the event season to start again and to get out there and sample other people's weeds and different flavors because it's crazy how there's a different flavor every year that seems to pop up and then everybody takes and runs with it. and you get like 30 expressions of it because they bred it with everything. But it's still cool. It's still cool to see the flavors, and some of them hang around for a while. Some are here and there, gone. Seemed like lime was pretty strong for the last year or two here and there. I don't know if we're gonna still see a bunch of lime strains, but any guesses on your on the new flavor pushes? I know you're punting chocolate yourself, but what about in the market or in the area? Does there seem to be a specific theme that people are going after besides like candy?
You know, I don't talk to too many people here now about cannabis. There's only like 4 or 5 people, but yeah, it's not like it doesn't feel like New York. Maybe because I did, I knew more people in New York, but it's definitely not like as open as in New York. Even before it was legal, everybody's hush hush up about it, and pretty much there's medical here, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Do they have like grow stores and stuff there, or is it still
No,
so
they
much
don't.
underground that they don't really have? Wow, okay.
Yeah, they don't even have. They have. There's Home Depot and Lowe's, but then again, dude, I'm in like rural kind of like yeah, it's hard to explain. Other than the college,
That's
which
kind of
is
cool though. For growing, you probably don't feel safer,
yeah,
you
exactly. I
know?
do. I don't. Yeah, like I had a handful of plants in the backyard, but I cut it down to one because I got nervous because it was just like a big.
Dude,
You
I
could
just put them out
yeah
there late. That's what I've been doing. I'm like saying, fuck it, I'm growing to grow plants. I don't care. And I'll put them out there late. Like, fuck, I think it was end of July last year. I put some plants out there, but they grew to be like 3 foot tall plants and I still got some good bud off of them. But they're like nice little stealth plants, little bushes.
yeah little yep, little waist size. Um, but yeah, now I'm thinking I got some auto beans that I'll probably try and get running or auto before anybody would even notice it, you know? And then I don't know, but I'm definitely going to continue to put some outside. I want to find a space in the woods somewhere. It's a weird area. Like from the street, there's meadow or whatever you want to call it, like open land until it hits mountains. But there's people's farms and houses in front of that are on the like open grassland, and then the mountains are behind them. Where there was only one place basically near where I lived that had any kind of open wilderness. It wasn't a park. I don't even think they called it a reserve. I forget what it was, but yeah, back in New York, down by New York City and Long Island, there's not a lot of wilderness areas at all. They're all like where we played War in the Woods. It's now all houses. You know what I mean? But here, yeah, I don't know. I have to scope out some spots.
The tricks for me growing up, because I grew up kind of in an agricultural area, and the cool trick out there was to do plantings like in the woods or the tree lines, because a lot of times farm fields are separated by a tree line or something like that for wind purposes to be blocking for wind. And so you try to get in those tree lines just into the tree line so that they don't really recognize it while they're on a tractor, but close enough to they get the overspray from the fertilizer and shit like that. So it's like I set it and forget it. And you leave it there, you plant a couple extra and you hope to get back there and you get at least one at harvest time.
I hope they don't go hard with Roundup or something though. Yeah, there's areas that
Yeah,
say
exactly.
do
You
not
don't want
spray. Like I see do not spray on the side of the road where I'm driving sometimes because it's organic, and I guess I'm looking for those kind of spots too.
there you go. There you go. But now I always worry now is like I figure that there's got to be just so much pollen, whether it be hemp or cannabis, just floating through the air that it's going to be eventually as legalization comes, maybe nationally too. Um, I
Yeah,
just
but
think
you
there's
didn't
gonna be so much pollen from people not really knowing what they're doing with them rag seed that
you
it's
didn't
gonna be
get
almost
any seeds
impossible.
in your outside, did you?
I've always seemed to get one or two seeds and
Oh, okay,
don't know where the fuck they come from, but it's just I imagine just stray pollen. Maybe it's
right,
pollinating
probably.
itself, but it's always like very few, and it's usually in the underneath. So is that it's pollinating itself, or is it somebody else's around me? Who knows? But yeah, I don't ever get any on my Mac. My Mac doesn't ever seem to fucking get pollinated, which is fucking awesome, I guess. That's another thing. Why wouldn't you want to do triploids just for outdoor grows? You don't need to have fucking pollen. You don't need to accept pollen. Why? That would be so good, you'd think. But I heard it was kind of a flop with the
Yeah, I think
was it
J5,
HSO?
right?
Yeah, I think it was HSO that had that triploid batch that they did. I don't know how many different cultivars, but I remembered hearing a lot of feedback of getting just crazy. Uh, I don't know, was it where it was what hermaphrodite? Is that the correct word with the triploid? I don't know what you call it. All
But
kinds of stuff going on with
yeah,
it.
there was
Wasn't
seed, like
good.
half seeds in it and stuff.
Yeah, when it was
Yeah, I think I
supposed to be
heard that
sterile.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're still working that one out. I, Ancient Soul says, I have four ladies in just now had a power outage for a few days due to storms. The temperature dropped way down. Growth is very slow. Do I cut my losses and pop new seeds? Any thoughts from the panel? So, what's the age of your ladies? What, I mean, are they big plants? A power outage for a few days. I'm not throwing away plants after just a couple days of power outage. What do you guys say?
Yeah, heck no.
No, I'm usually
Like, yeah,
I'm trying to get
no.
light on them in some way, you know. I might have like battery powered lights that I can charge up on the generator or something to at least save the light cycle so they're not reverting back to veg if they're not, if they're in flower. But if they're veg plants, yeah, try to get enough light on them so they don't flower, but you can flash that light for like a half hour, turn it off for a fucking half hour, turn it back on for a half hour. It doesn't have to be on for the full 18 hours, just intermittently on for the 18 hours, I think. I don't know, what do you guys do in a power outage? What's your SOPs?
I had I had battery powered LED lights at one point that I put all up in there, but it sucked. They would die out, and then I'd have to change the batteries and shit. Like they were little, but I thought it would help. But yeah, that was a fail, I would say. Luckily, I haven't had much power outage. I had that was like only a overnighter once in New York. Here we haven't had an outage of more than an hour. Um, but yeah, if it's just an hour, I mean, it's just a couple, 2 days, 3 days. I would just try and reset the timer to the late cycle that exactly where it was, and have them come back. They'll be all right. If they're in veg or flower, they would be all right. They come back in veg, and just they probably start throwing pre-flowers, maybe get a little weirded out, um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
if
they
I'm in
shouldn't
flower,
come
I'm not
back.
really worried. If I'm in flower, I'm not really worried. If I'm in veg, I'm worried that I won't be able to get enough light on them and they'll start to flower on me. That's the big thing. Like,
Right, that could
y-
be an issue.
yeah, if you're in flower, the thing to worry about is like, can I get power to my fans? If not, I'm gonna have to open up the flower room door and try to somehow evacuate air because unless you, even if you have if you have a closed grow room, you might be able to be okay, but you're still gonna have to have a problem with dehumidification. Eventually, you're gonna have a problem with the air getting so humid with no dehus running that could cause mold issues. So, yeah, diverting your either your own resources to somehow that could be opening the door and closing it manually to try to get air movement, or running a extension cord to your generator so that the fan can evacuate air. But I wouldn't worry too much about light in the case of the flower room so much. It's the veg that'd be more worried about light.
Yeah, I think that's true. I uh I had my power go out for a night one time, and I just rocked it. But that's what I was worried about the most was the air movement in the flower room for sure. And I actually have uh, a little DeWalt fan, like a job site fan that you can plug in DeWalt tools, and I used that, and the power was out. I'm trying to remember, at least 15 hours. Tree fell on the main power line going into my neighborhood, and it was at night, and it worked. It worked just fine, and I didn't have any problems with my veg. I might have seen a little pre-flowers, but that was my immediate, you know. The flower room is also, I mean, if you're running perpetual, like the flower room is like what you've been you're closest to the end. You've done all the work for that. It would suck to lose your breeds, obviously, and your strains and everything else. But I mean, a nice big harvest, a healthy harvest is going to help you with whatever problem you're going to have at the end. So I'm always looking to finish, and then that was exactly what I was worried about was the air movement more than the light in the flower room.
That's a great tip about using the job site fan. Like a lot of these tool companies, like your cordless tools like Ryobi and Milwaukee and DeWalt and all of these guys, Black and Decker, all these guys are starting to come out with some pretty innovative things you can do with the
They got
battery
some
packs that they use.
crazy, yeah.
The simplest thing is they have the battery packs that plug into this thing that's just outlets, and then you can plug a standard fan into it that you have already in there. So to be able to have a backup like that with batteries that you probably already got pre-charged anyway for your tools, that's an awesome tip. To be able to have like a backup fan, backup light even to hold that light cycle in the veg. You could just fucking hang it from the ceiling in there or something, or put it on the shelf, aim down towards your plants to help you, and maybe you could be charging your other backup light while that one's going and just cycle those batteries out. That could be a way to get through a power outage fairly cheaply with stuff that you might already have. You might have two, three of those batteries already in your house right now. You just got to go buy that fan or that light or whatever it is. That's a great tip, man. Good job. I like that. Thanks for sharing, though. I could save some.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thankful that I haven't had to deal with power outages so far this year. I'm very thankful. But even those, I'm interested in getting I don't know what the fuck they call them, but it's essentially just I think they call it like an electric generator or something like that. But it's essentially just a battery that you plug into the wall and charge it up so that when the power goes out, you can plug into it until it's dead again. But um, even one of those would be pretty cool to have for that same situation to plug in your fan that you're using down there, or maybe a heater in the if it's going to get too cold or whatever you need. Maybe your grow light dimmed way down, but enough to just keep your light cycle. So I know that's all. I think batteries is another something that we haven't traditionally thought of to be like a grow room tool, but just like a oh shit in case of emergency, it'd be really nice to have some fucking batteries already charged and ready to just kick into action to save your grow, man. I was thinking today too, like for controllers or timers, light timers, things like that. If you had it plugged into like a battery backup that like they made for computers, they call it UPSs, uninterruptible power supplies. Like if you had that's essentially the same thing. It's just a battery that has plugins on it that plugs into the wall. And so what happens is when the power runs out or dies, it just runs off of that battery bank until the power kicks back on, and then it recharges that battery. Or where that would be cool is like, say you have a DWC cloner, you could have that plugged into it, and when your power's out, your air stones are still running off of that battery, and you're not losing your clones, and you're not losing your genetics, or it's plugged into your light controller, and so you don't lose all your settings and everything, or it's plugged into your light timer, and so your light timer stays on the right time, and you don't have to reset it. Um, those battery backups can be used pretty creatively to save, a lot of hassle during power outages. So I would look into that kind of stuff, battery backups and the power tube batteries. That's a cool one for power outage situations. It's a good tip. If
Yeah.
your power is out for multiple days during plants lights out time, charge LED camping light outside if you got sunlight. Nice option. So he's like, I'm assuming like solar powered things. Yeah, that would be pretty nice too, but I don't know. Like how reliable, depending on where you're at. Like I'm in Michigan, I'm pretty far north. I don't know how much solar power I'm going to get off of those little squares they have on those things to charge them. Yeah, Berkshire Bud brings up a good point. You can't run your lights or heat or AC or dehumidifier for long. Well, you can run your lights if you dim them down. So honestly, you don't need to have, 1000 ppfd on your lights to keep the light cycle. All you're really trying to do is in your veg is keep your light cycle so the plants don't try to start to flower. So you could dim it down to like 10%, and be
Yeah,
drawing, pulling like, 60 watts on some lights and just enough to keep your plants lit. So you absolutely could run a light, but yeah, a DHU is going to pull a lot. A heater is going to be pulling like 1500 watts, probably 1200 watts. Those things pull a lot, and you're not going to run them for a long time on a battery, unless you have like one of those whole home batteries, like a Tesla, what's it called, Powerwall or something. But you definitely can keep your light cycle. You could definitely keep the settings on a controller or on a timer and things that don't pull a lot of electricity, and get you to hopefully to even if it doesn't get you to when the power comes back on, it gets you hours. That might be life or death for a clone per se. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
yeah. I encourage everyone to write down their start and stop delayed cycles because when the power goes out, a lot of people are like, damn, I don't know what time the light went on. So I always keep track, like seven, either 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., whatever, so that you know when it goes out, you can put it back exactly where it was.
Yeah, and it's important to check into it. Like if you have a pulse, those are awesome because they'll tell you if the lights aren't coming on
Right.
time and stuff. But if you don't have something like that and you're just trusting that it's coming on, I mean, especially after a power outage, you want to make sure that everything's running because who knows what that power outage does to electronics. That's a lot of times when stuff starts to break. Pat Freddy's Cash says, I have 20 different lithium batteries and they are amazing. Yeah, lithium's a good one. But another thing to consider too is in the cold, like in the cold, batteries tend to lose their charge faster too. So you're gonna be recharging faster in the cold months. Anybody get anything started for outdoor yet, or is it still too early?
It's
Way too
too
early.
early for me.
I say it's way too early for me. I'm putting them out late. So I'm thinking about starting when people are putting them out.
Yeah, we just had a big snowstorm. Obviously, you're not going to put anything outside right now, but we just had a snowstorm here uh, pretty late for us. Yeah.
A lot of people start right about now, even earlier in California, right? They start like January 1st for their outdoor. Some of them.
Yeah, it makes sense that if you're going to backlog it to start now, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we just get hit with snowstorm. It just was snowing today too. So we got a lot of snow. I'm tired of the snow already. Spring can start anytime, man. I can't wait till the day that there's not a plant count and it's just like canopy space or something, and I can pheno hunt outdoors and I can just grow a bunch of small little plants. That's gonna be awesome. I think outside would be the best pheno hunting time because you have so much space. Just plant them tight in there, like little 1 footers or something. Put them out there in August so they just grow up a little bit and flip. Take all your samples of bud and dry it out and pheno hunt your heart's content, man. You just gotta keep track of a shit ton of clones and figure out which ones you want to keep. But imagine how much you could get done in like just one growing season. Have like 100. You could do a pheno hunt of one strain, do like 100 if you wanted to.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
I
like,
was just thinking, in my little backyard that I have here, I could probably do 200 plants. I could do more than that, really. Yeah, if it was all the same one, that'd be easy.
yeah, you can make a lot of selections right from the get. Be like, oh, that one's tiny. It's not going to yield worth a shit. I don't want to keep that one. And so you wouldn't have to keep every single clone either.
Right, right.
You could take clones and put them in like a 5 gallon bucket, label them around their stems, like with a sticker, and then just put them in a 5 gallon bucket with air stones and see how long you keep them alive. Maybe you have to give a little bit of nutrient in that water until you're able to pick your keepers. See, real low tech, cheap home grow,
There you go. That would
hunting on the
work.
cheap. You could even do it in a low hoop house because they're not going to get super big, and so they'd be protected from the, rains and shit. That would be the dream. Any more questions from the chat? You guys have any more topics? I'm sufficiently stoned. I took some edibles before this. Emily, shout out to Anything Grows. She was making caramel, infused caramel that she used some RSO that infused it with, and it didn't set because we couldn't get it hot enough. So it's like this
Liquid.
really soft caramel, and I had it on some ice cream. Oh, I feel like a warm hug in my brain right now. It feels great.
I tried making hard candies with cannabis once. It didn't work at all, and I ended up like
It's
drinking the
separated.
stuff. No, I don't. It didn't harden up. I don't
Oh,
know.
it
It was
didn't even
liquid.
harden.
Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong, but I was like, I ain't wasting it. So I just poured it. I ended up drinking it.
Oh, was it good though? I'm sure it'd be super sweet.
Yeah, it tasted good, right? But it just didn't take the form it was supposed to at all.
That's kind of what happened here with this, and I just had to pour some on my ice cream, and I was
There
like,
you go.
oh,
That works.
good stuff. That's a good Grinch grower says put top a brownie with it. That'd be another good one. Southwest Selects is wondering where Jack is. Jack is on his way home. He was at the Champs Expo in Vegas, where he met a couple of the listeners. He shouted them out. It was Ty Sticks and Johnny
Johnny
Can.
Canseed, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Canseed. And so I'm sure he'll be talking all about that next week. It's always cool to do those different events and meet people that you've talked to forever online. I love that stuff. But yeah, he's driving home, guys. He'll be here next week. Mulch Baby says I Sinai. I like it.
I heard that that Champs event was really good this year. They said they had a big turnout.
Was there cool? I love to hear that.
That's
Um,
what they were saying. I was watching Adam Dunn show, and they had Danny Danko was there from the event, and a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
other people, and they were like, "Yeah, it would seem to be better than the last couple, I guess."
I like that. I saw Danny and was talking to him about champs at MJ BizCon, so it's cool to hear that it was a good event. Because we were talking about that at MJ BizCon. He felt like that I asked him, I said, "You're no better than anybody. You've seen them all. What do you think about the attendance? This was my first time there, and it felt like there was quite a few people." And he goes, "Yeah, but this ain't nothing to what it used to be." So it was good to get that perspective from somebody who's seen them all. And so to me, in my mind, it was kind of mind-boggling. Like, man, can you imagine having the same experience times two or times three, that many people? That'd be insane. So it must have been something back in the day. So hopefully Champs was that way. Champs seems like it'd be cooler too because it's more focused on glass enthusiasts and that kind of stuff. So it's going to bring out, you're going to see what exactly you want to see. You don't have to pull out the map to try to find to the areas that you're interested in, like you kind of do at the MJ BizCon. It's kind of all encompassing. Have you guys ever been to Champs? I've never been to Champs, so I don't even. I just have talked to people that go, but I don't know if I
I've
know.
never made it. I was in Vegas for an what do they call that? I had to switch planes. I was there for like a few hours. That was
Oh,
it.
layover.
Yeah, layover. Yeah, I was in Vegas for a layover. That was it. Probably
You've never
good
been to
too.
Vegas?
that's probably good that I didn't spend any time actually there because I'd either be broke or arrested or both, or yeah, God only knows what might occur.
You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised.
Or I would broke some bank at the casino too. That's just like the way my life is. Either really bad in the story or really good in the story.
Well, like my first time in Vegas was this last year when in December when we went down there for BizCon and yeah, it was Vegas was pretty wild, man, as far as but it seemed like that you could find like pretty much depending on I don't think it matters who you are, you could find some place that you could like hang out and be like, all right, this is really cool. This is up my alley kind of a thing. It seemed like they had something for most everybody, which seems, that's pretty cool. Same thing with food, like there's like so many awesome places to eat. Um,
Now,
but
are the events the same location or is like BizCon at a different one?
so VizCon is at a big convention center, and then a lot of the parties and stuff like that was either leading up to it on the same day or after, and they all happen outside of the convention center at different locations usually. Because some of them were at clubs where you could smoke, some were at places you couldn't. They were at like restaurants or bars, things like that, or casinos. So it's all depending on the party, really. But they're all pretty fucking badass, honestly. They're all in these pretty sweet, swanky places.
Right,
It's just that the transportation stuff is fucking garbage. Like you don't want to drive. Fuck that.
right.
So, yeah, if you got a way around that, then you'd be better off, in my opinion. So I'm sure there's maybe public transportation options that, but I had to drive down there to bring the lights down there, so I was driving around anyway, just following the GPS, but it's just like crazy because I was
Right.
staying outside of town, so I'd drive outside of town every night and then driving back into town and out of town, it's like you're going across these I don't know how many lane traffics and you're getting on and getting off and going on and off and not knowing, just praying to God that the
Doing
GPS is
the right
telling you the
one.
right. Yeah, dude. It's just like you got one ways and all this and you got roads above you, below you, and it's like So yeah, I could have done without the drive-in, but other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. Like I could imagine like if I could go there on my own time and just take my time and sightsee
Right.
it would probably been fucking really cool.
Way better. Are you allowed to smoke like where they smoke cigarettes or no?
Dude, so I don't know if you've seen a lot of the touristy stuff about Las Vegas, but there's this one section, I forget the name of it, where you're walking down this road, but the front top of it's covered by like a half a dome and it's all covered in
Old
LEDs.
Town.
Okay, Old Town. It's covered with these LEDs and it's showing like this weird psychedelic stuff or multiple different things. And there's people what do you call it? Roping or what do you call that when they're on the rope
Zip
and there's
lining.
zip line? Yeah,
Lassoing?
they're zip
Oh,
lining over your head and shit. And we were walking down there, and it was pretty packed from side to side walking through there. And this casino's unbuilt, and I think there's a couple restaurants and stuff. And there's all kinds of performers and showgirls and all kinds of stuff in the street itself. And we were smoking a fucking blunt walking down that area and nobody fucked with us. And when there was cops getting close, you just, palm the blunt in your hand like you didn't have anything until you got past the cops, then you continued to smoke. So were you allowed to smoke? I don't think so, but we weren't like overly hiding that we were and nobody fucked with us.
I'm a big sports gambler, not as big as I used to be, but I always have been. And before online sports books and things like that, to make pretty good sized bets, you had to go to Vegas. So I used to go to Vegas all the time. I've been there probably close to 20 times. And I always stay for a while. Old Town is kind of a little hack. Like that's a lot. It's funny that you went to Vegas once. You stumbled on Old Town. Like I went there a few times before I went there. That's a really cool place to hang out and stuff. But like you definitely don't want to rent a car in Vegas, in my opinion. Just walk down the strip, and then when you get to where you're done walking, just walk all the way, and then just take a Uber or a cab back to your hotel room. That's way better. And yeah, smoking, since it's legalized, it's kind of like don't ask, don't tell. Like everyone is smoking, and I've never seen anybody. I mean, they're smoking in front of security guards, usually joints. But yeah, it's pretty dang chill. I mean, you can walk down the Vegas Strip pass around a fifth of Jack Daniels if you want. I mean, Vegas is it's pretty fun. It's gotten really ridiculous in prices and stuff, but they really got their revenue hit hard last year. I can follow it pretty closely, and I think prices are going to come down. I haven't been there in a few years because everything was just getting ridiculous. Like the resort fees, like you book your hotel room and then like it's like they want to charge you like an extra like 40 or $50 on top of it, quote unquote resort fee. Sometimes the resort fee is almost as much as the hotel room if you get a good deal. So, but it as far as smoking and drinking and partying, yeah, that's kind of the place. I always am like just amazed that people bring their kids there because guys are just getting drunk, just getting hammered.
Dude, I
I
could
mean,
not
come
believe
on,
that. I couldn't believe
dude.
it. On the floor of the casino, somebody walking through. I was like,
Yes,
okay, there's something new.
right. I mean, and guys are getting hammered. I mean, that's what a lot of guys go there for. Yeah, that never made sense to me. I had a buddy of mine tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring my kid." I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Do not do that. Do not bring a little kid to Vegas. That is not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some cool stuff for kids to do at other places, but that don't why bring them to a casino? That's not a good place. Oh, dude, one place I did see that I thought was badass too was it was in a casino, but they had like this little museum set up off to the side that was like they took the stage, the stuff that Lady Gaga wore on stage, and they put it on like mannequins, and like you didn't have to go inside it. They had it like on the outside, like in the windows, and so you just walk by and see it, and just like it. I was just looking at some of the stuff. Is like one of them is like just the shoe alone. The heel, it was like a high heel shoe, and the heel itself was like a what looked like the what looked like a whole like cleaver. So it was like the blade was the heel. So it's right to the point of the knife. I'm like, why would you, how can you walk in that and not break your legs? So I don't know, it was cool to see some of that stuff up close that you don't really see. It's like that's wild. That's just wild. So yeah, shout out to Vegas. You can see some, oh, the Hard Rock Cafe was really cool. A bunch of cool music memorabilia. All free. Just walk in and you can see the stuff on the walls.
There used to be a lot of really cool stuff. I'm trying to think the first time I went to Vegas, it had been like 2006, something like that. But I mean, the water, the Bellagio water fountain is really cool to see that show. They used to have a volcano show at the Mirage. They used to have a lot of really cool, different, like just like free type shows. But there is a lot of really cool stuff. Vegas, I mean, especially if you've never been, yeah, man, Vegas is pretty fun. But once you've been quite a few times, like I know that place really well. Like I always tell everybody, like, hey, if you ever want to go to Vegas, my friends, like, you want me to go with you because I know where to go. I know what places to go to, and
Oh,
like,
dude, and you can lose a lot of money in Vegas just trying to get food, just trying to go into the store. If you're in Vegas and you buy anything, you're gonna pay 10 times than if you would drive 10 minutes out of town and buy the same thing. It's crazy the prices in Vegas. That's what blew my mind.
well, and that's the other thing. Not just that. I mean, if you drink alcohol, believe me, you hear, oh, free drinks. Oh yeah, that's not. And go order a drink in Vegas. Drinks are very expensive in Vegas. I mean, obviously, if you're gambling and you just happen to see a waitress that happens to be in your area, you can get a free drink. But I don't know how many times me and my buddies we would order a drink and we were going to get up from a slot machine or whatever, and we don't. And then by the time she comes back with our drink, two of us are down $40. You know, each lost $20. So yeah, the drink was free. Wink, wink. Yeah, totally. And usually it's watered down. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to do in Vegas. Like there's this huge Ferris wheel right in the middle. At the link,
I
and
saw that.
that thing is way cool at night. That is a lot. I didn't do it for the longest time. My buddy one time was like, "Oh, let's just do it." That is a lot of fun. The Stratosphere, going up to the top of the Stratosphere. There's cool, really cool rides up there. There is certain things that you basically have to do when you go to Vegas. Certain things, dude. They have a huge dispensary. They have a dispensary there that is so freaking big and such a tourist. I know for a fact that at one time it was the biggest one in the world, but I don't know
Right.
anymore. They have all kinds of crazy stuff in that thing. They have their own coffee shop. They have like like an ice cream store. They have their own like when you go to a hotel in Vegas, they have like the cab line out front, right? They have a cab line for the dispensary. There's just like 8 cabs just waiting. There's a drop off point and a
Damn.
pickup point. I mean, this place is huge. And you know what's really funny? Not very much good weed in there.
Not surprised.
I'm like, this is your guys' best stuff.
But you gotta remember too, it's tourist fucking capital of the world. So there's people coming in, they're going to Las Vegas to party. They need some weed, so they don't need the best in the world. They just need some weed for a lot of these people who don't usually smoke at all. That's probably why they got those taxi cabs on fucking deck, man. Just keep hustling the people out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun your first time going, and you know, I'm in my mid 40s, but when I was in my late 20s, it was a lot of fun. When we were partying, and oh yeah, and that's the thing. There is world class food in Las Vegas, tons of it, lots of good food, man.
I had some amazing steaks there. I had a lot of good food there. I was very blessed to have a lot of good meals there, and I don't know, a lot of good experiences there. So I'm not hating on it. I just hate on the traffic. I'll hate
Oh,
on the
oh yeah.
traffic all day long. I'll say it too, like I told GML, I told the boss, I was like, he said, "Well, how was the driving?" I was like, "Dude, I'll tell you something, the biggest difference, man. Where I'm from, if you honk your horn, there's a 50% chance you're gonna get in a fight on the road. And just a 50% chance that's gonna happen." Um, I said, but down here in Vegas, it's like that's how they say hello. Hey, I'm here. Honk, honk. I'm like, dude, I wanted to fucking. I was like on edge the whole time. I was hearing so many honking. Just not even in a car, walking on the street, you're still hearing like 37 honks in a matter of 10 seconds or something. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on in this place?
Have you ever been to New York, Spartan, New York
No, I
City?
have not, but I bet you that's even 10 times
Yeah,
worse.
you don't even notice them after a while, dude. It's just they have streets, there's signs on the streets. Do not honk your horn because, and yeah, people they broke down on that for a minute and started ticketing people. Cause yeah, I mean it's just nonstop, dude. It's like ridiculous. Yeah,
Oh, it was driving me insane.
24/7 too.
And
Yeah.
then the old school grower in me was just like every time I heard the helicopters flying over, I get, the heckles in my back of my neck came over. And it's like they just are fucking, there's people that are just, buying helicopter rides to get to A and B faster. So the helicopters are buzzing all day long. And then there's a tourist one where they just fly you around the sites and stuff. And it's like, I'm every time helicopter, I'm usually like looking where, what are they doing? So yeah, that was a little took a little bit to get used to too, but other than that, it was cool. It was cool. I felt like a tourist looking at all the different like they do a good job with the that section that they have like of the uh like it looks like the tour of the world or whatever because it's got like the Eiffel Tower and then it's got the Statue of Liberty, and it's just like smaller scale versions of it, but they're still huge, and it just looks so cool. They had the pyramid, all that crap. The pyramid is cool as hell at night with the that one light that shoots straight up into the sky, or
Yeah, it is.
the big sphere now. When you're leaving the convention center, you're in traffic, stuck in traffic, obviously trying to leave that place. And straight ahead, as you're waiting in line to leave the place to turn right onto the main drag, straight ahead is that sphere, so I was able to sit there and just watch that every night as I was waiting in line to leave. It was changing, making all these different graphics and stuff, and that thing's pretty cool too. So I can imagine inside seeing a show has got to be pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't know if that place was up. I don't think that place was up the last time I was there in 2022. And I've seen a lot of like different stuff about it and heard a lot of stuff and heard it's pretty epic. I watched a UFC pay-per-view fight in there. Um, but yeah, I could see that place is pretty epic. It looks cool.
Operation Annihilation says he hears that the casinos are smokier than an SOB. I didn't hang around a lot in the casinos. I walked through a few of them, and there's a couple times where I smelled some smoke, but honestly, they must have good ass ventilation because I didn't really experience tons of smoke or anything like sitting in the air.
The bigger the casino, the better the filter. So So like at MGM or like the Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, those places. Some of those places in Old Town, yeah, it's pretty smoky in there.
Yeah, I think the last time I was in, well, I don't know if it was where it was, but a casino that had a smoking and no smoking section. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, but
I
they have
kind of,
casinos up here the same way, and there's like not a wall between those sections.
right. It's not a
Yeah, I
huge
mean, so what the fuck does that
separate.
even mean?
Well, dude, there's a spot in the last time I went through Denver Airport. There was a smoking room, dude. You didn't have to buy cigarettes. You just walk in there, and it was
They
even with
pipe
the
the smoke in.
crazy, dude. They have a crazy filter, crazy exhaust, but it was just like, yeah, it reeked like cigarettes in there.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I may have even smoked like a part of a joint in there because it was like no one would even notice.
He's like, I want to improve the fucking air in this place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Lone Star says it's smoky, but you don't notice till you leave, and all your stuff reeks like it. That reminds me of the old school bars before they made the law that you can't smoke in the bars. Like you would go into a bar, even if you're a non-smoker, and by the time you left that bar, it smelled like you rolled in an ashtray, man. It didn't matter. That's one thing that I'm actually thankful for.
I remember a couple places I went to. They had like the drop ceiling, so with a low ceiling, it was just like, yeah, ridiculous how crazy smoky you got.
It's all hazy, trying to look
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
room. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, not anymore. There's no place like that where I've been recently.
I feel so old when I think about situations like I remember there was like this bar dance club slash whatever dive here in town where I live still now. It's not there anymore, it's something else. But not only was it like that, like you're saying, it had the drop ceilings and it was always hazy and because you could smoke in there. You couldn't even see, 10 feet into the dance floor. But they also, as soon as you walked in, they on the wall they had Polaroid pictures of people that were barred from coming back in.
That
That's
shows a
awesome.
classy establishment. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a good place. Uh, I always loved looking at that. Like, man, how many of these people do I know? That's hilarious. Grinch Grower says smoking cigarettes you buy from a vending machine at a Waffle House at 1 a.m. was a rite of passage. Now that's old school.
Yeah, those cigarette machines, man, that's old school. That's a just even thinking about that, that's a blast from the past.
We pull that little
Yeah. Oh
thing.
The
yeah.
knob.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I forget what I was watching, but when you could smoke on an airplane, that must have been crazy.
Can
I
you
don't know.
imagine that?
Yeah,
I
I don't know
remember
what,
as a kid, my parents both smoking in the car in front of me with the windows up, um, and just hotboxing the fuck out of us. But I imagine that's a lot like what it's like to sit there
right.
on an airplane, you know?
Imagine if one person, I remember in school, on a school bus with all of the windows open, right? All the way in the back seat, someone could light up a cigarette. You could smell it with all the windows open in the front. So in an airplane, it must have just been crazy.
They had like little babies, everything on board. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
The-
The ashtrays were literally in the armrests.
In the armrest, yeah. Just
Couldn't
a fold
imagine.
over lid.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy now.
Yeah. That's crazy to think back about that shit, man. And you know what? We're all still alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No seatbelts either.
And we're worried about whatever little thing that pops up now that we have to be worried about. But back then it was totally okay. Yeah, shout out anything grows. I used to eat my dad's cigarettes because he'd leave them on the coffee table.
That's
Uh,
crazy, dude.
remember the candy cigarettes? You remember that?
Oh yeah, they still have them at stores here.
Yeah, man. It's like that's crazy. You can have candy cigarettes, but if you're a cannabis company, God forbid you have a fruit or what else? Like a cartoon on your packaging because that appeals to kids. But you can sell candy cigarettes. That's totally cool.
I remember being in 10th grade and going to my buddy's house to get a ride with him to school. And he's like, "Oh, hey, let's go outside and smoke a cigarette." And I'm like, "Okay," I was a young, dumb kid. He grabbed a cigarette out of his mom's pack. There's no lighter. And he goes, "Do you have a lighter?" And I'm like, "No." He goes over to the toaster, lights the cigarette with the toaster. I've seen him light the cigarette with the toaster. I've seen him light it with a freaking an oven, all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome. I hadn't even thought about the toaster trick. I might have to use that someday, and that's fucking stored in the memory banks. I love that. That's just like the shit in your car. Just get it hot, red hot and stick it in there. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. We all survived some stuff, so I mean, I can't remember what we were doing the other day. There's something about something, what the hell was it? Maybe cleaning a bowl or something. I can't remember what it was, but we were concerned about something being clean and smoking a bowl. And I said, here we are worried about whatever the fuck it was. I said, and we all sat there and smoked out of a fucking aluminum can. And now we're worried about like the littlest, tiniest thing. But it's
When
just
I
funny.
was
It's funny
when I
looking
was in
back.
10th grade, uh, when I first started smoking, behind my parents' old house was a cemetery. And in that cemetery, they had like this old, like really crazy like prayer house thing. And behind it was like some trees. And so would stash a can there that I would use to get stoned with, because you know how it goes. Like you never carry a pipe. I was young, I didn't have a pipe or nothing. Like it was hard to get that kind of stuff. And so didn't want to lose it, have it get stolen, or taken from me by the security guards at school or the cops. But I would always just keep a little bit of weed in my sock in a little cellophane or a little bag, and I would always stop there on the way home and take a little hit. And yeah, I've smoked out of a freaking pop can a few times.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
it's got a MacGyver. I think smokers and growers, especially growers even, but smokers too. You have to be a MacGyver, man. You just got to be able to fucking just make shit work with what you have. Always have had to, and it's kind of an essential stoner skill, I think.
yeah, but you guys know there's a plastic liner in them cans, right? Don't be doing that
Yeah.
more.
Delicious.
Yeah. Added flavor. I know somebody would smoke out of a socket piece. Not even like just the socket. And he was doing it once and it
Oh my God.
went through, hit the back of his throat, and he burnt the back of his throat.
Oh my
And I
God.
forget, he went to the doctors and shit. I forget what he told them what happened. I think he said he was welding and he was like looking up and it went into his throat or something, but he gave him some sort of excuse.
You
But
gotta.
yeah,
That's a rookie move. You gotta go underneath somebody's faucet and take the screen out, and put that bad boy.
now you're talking. Yep. I remember going to someone's house and turning on all their faucets. I'm like, man, you guys got fucked up faucets. Like, well, we had to use all the screens. I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even realize that, yeah, the screens were in there until they told me, and that's what they were using them for. Yeah, I never. I don't. I may have smoked out of a soda can once. I'm sure I have. And what was the other thing I was thinking about? The gravity bong was good, but I always hated having that plastic when you like when you lit it.
Ugh.
I'd always think the plastic would burn, but
So you got to get a
Oh,
glass.
it burned. If you got it hot enough, I've
yeah,
seen it. I've done it. We had a 2 liter and a freaking pitcher. We did all that stuff too, man. That's like a
there
lot
was
of passage.
there was a stint where we drilled holes into vodka bottles and turned them in like into bongs.
That's the way to do it. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Or you make a grab bong out of glass. Emily's got one. I don't know, somewhere back there, but you're essentially the same thing you do with the plastic bottles, but it's all glass. So and it has a neck that fits a regular I think it's a 10 millimeter, maybe it's a 12 millimeter bowl. So yeah, it's perfect. I love it. It's like the closest thing to a
Nice,
dab with flour.
right?
I mean, I literally got dab sweats on it, hitting it, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting hot. I'm gonna take my fucking sweatshirt off. So yeah, the fucking grab bong I highly recommend. It's cool ass device. Or what's the other thing called? Have you seen that? It's like a plastic device that you put a joint into it, holds it in the middle, and when you
Power
squeeze,
hitter. It's
yeah, the
called the
power
power
hitter.
hitter. Yeah,
I imagine that's kind of on the same lines, man, where it kind of forces it into you.
right.
JP from MB wants to know if we've ever smoked lungs, the 2 liter pop bottles in the bread bags. They were the rage in high school. I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
Neither do I.
Sounds like a mix of like a
Volcano.
Stores and Bickle kind of with a bag. Maybe it's a 2 liter pop bottle as like a grab bong, but you fill up a bag, fill up a bread bag, and then you take hits off of it, maybe.
Maybe like a volcano.
Yeah, like a volcano. That would be cool. You just use a grab bond to fill up a bag and then fucking shotgun that bag. The Jeffro says 500 milliliter pop bottle made a quickie long. Hmm. Like the model lungs from health class. I don't know what everybody's talking about with this third lung stuff. I'm still no idea. I'm very interested. I'm intrigued, but I don't know what it is.
Sounds like a Canadian thing.
Sounds like a UK thing, according to us.
Oh, there you go.
S1W Selects remembers doing waterfalls with sockets on top of water bottles. I don't know what that one is either. You take a 2 liter pop bottle. Okay, this is the bag thing. A 2 liter pop bottle, cut it in half, and then tape a bread bag tight. You would stuff the bag all up inside,
Ah,
use the lid as the bowl spot. Pull the bag down slow when you got like, okay, cool, like a water gravity bomb, but with air.
right. It was just a
Nice.
suction. That's
Also known as
interesting.
a joint buddy. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing as okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think I had a power hitter that was, commercialized, labeled as a smoking a cigarette when you're like in a raft because you could drop it in the water, it would float in this bottle thing. But like where you would have the cigarette, you just squeeze the bottle. Yeah, it was a power hitter, but
Yeah, it would shoot it like a shot into your
yep,
mouth. Yep.
shotgun.
Super cool. I might get me one of those.
I'll be getting that when I'm like 150. I can't really inhale as good. Getting one of those.
You'd be getting one of those and you're going around to your fucking buddies who are just chilling or sleeping and you're fucking
Right.
smoking in
Oh,
their
we
face.
did that in college, dude. Yeah, we had the kid go high before he woke up than when he went to sleep.
Oh, that's ruthless. I love that.
Oh no, that's real friendship
That's
right
right.
there.
That's right.
Yeah. It
Let's
was
keep
someone
them
did
keep
that
them
to me.
medicated. I love it. Oh, that's fucking cool. I like the I forget what the fuck you call them now, where you blow into them and it filters out the smoke. I forget the name.
Something buddy.
Smoke Buddy. That's what it's
Okay.
called. Yeah, Smoke Buddy makes it, and it's like this mouthpiece that you blow into, and it's got a carbon filter inside it. And we used it on our trips. Like when you combine that with doing a dab, I was literally took my little piece. I have a smaller piece, a little glass piece. But I took that little guy with me with a little travel torch. This is pretty dirty, but with a travel torch, took this and we're taking fucking regular glass hits and blowing them through that, and you didn't smell anything. It was beautiful. We didn't get any any extra charges for the hotel room, and that was when we are staying in Vegas, just outside of Vegas. It was still Las Vegas, but on the outskirts. And so I swear by them now. So if you're traveling and you're in a hotel room or whatever, I would get you a smoke buddy, man. I don't know how long they last. I think I've used mine for about a year, and it's getting ready to need to be replaced, I think, because it's like harder to blow through, and it's not really doing as good of a job as it used to. But I'll happily be replacing it. But I recommend them for traveling on the road and wanting to still smoke and not get out in the cold if it's cold.
And then they have ones for filtering when you inhale it, right?
So you inhale it normally, and then you exhale into it.
No, I mean like they have one like for cup cough. Didn't you have like one that you had around your neck?
Yeah, that one was called what was that called? I'm trying to think of what that's called.
It's like the reverse. Instead of blowing
Yeah.
out the filter, it's when you suck it in so you don't get cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those around here somewhere, and I don't know why I stopped ever using. Oh, I couldn't find the filters anymore. But yeah, that was just a silicone mouthpiece that was about the shape of a funnel or whatever, so it fit any mouthpiece. You just stick it in your mouthpiece
Right.
and then pull through it, and it filters it before it goes through you.
Because I knew you could get a new filter for that. Do they got new filters for the smoke buddy, or you got to get a new one?
No, for the smoke buddy, the thing I was talking about before that, you just have to replace those. I don't think you can replace there's no like no cartridge or anything. It's all
Right.
one piece.
Okay.
So you guys just replace that. But the other thing that you're talking about, yeah, the filters popped out and you just you pop in a new filter and you just order like a sleeve of filters. I think you got 10 in a sleeve or something like that. And they last about a week or so. Heavy use, I would say. With dabs, it'd last a lot longer because you wouldn't be filtering much. There's not like tar and stuff to filter out. So, man, I need to figure out what those are and order more of those filters because I remember I like those, at least for the bong. And like you're saying, cup cough, when you're on the cup, you could, because it came with a lanyard where you could just have it hanging on your neck. And when you went to the cup, if they had a bong set out or a glass piece set out, you could put that up and take a hit through that. And now you're not kissing everybody who just took a hit before you. Which I don't know. I'm a pretty nice guy, but I'd rather not kiss everybody who hit that before that. What the fuck was that thing called? Now it's gonna bug me. Damn. I don't even see them anymore. I had like two or three sitting right here too. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Now that's gonna bug me for the rest of
No bother. It's I'll try and find it for you. No worries.
the I'll find it. I know I've got them laying around here. They're just somewhere I don't know where they're at this moment. When I get out the show, I can look around. I'll find them. But yeah. Moose Labs, yeah, JMA 182. Man, I love chat. It was Moose Labs was the company who made it. I forget what they called it, but it's the bong prophylactic by Moose Labs. Moose caps. I don't think it was caps.
I'm on the website. All it's saying is a mouthpiece. PEACE.
Peace, yeah, mouthpiece spelled peace. That's what it's called.
There
Yeah.
you go. I told you I'd do it. I find
Thank
the
you,
place
man.
for
Oh, I
it.
feel so good. Damn.
Oh yeah, mouthpiece mini filters.
Yeah,
You get
mouthpiece. That thing is cool.
yeah.
It's not that expensive and it's worth it if you ask me. Especially if you go to events. I love events just for the community aspect and meeting people in person. And I love talking with people in person. It's just fucking awesome. And to be able to share smoke, that's just another level. So yeah, go get your mouthpiece. They don't have a discount code. Discount code Spartan Grown. I don't have any affiliations with them, but I still think it's a good product. And hey, maybe they're a small business. I don't know. But I definitely like the product. You can get all different colors too. My favorite one is like the bright green kind of one because it glows in the dark, which is super cool at music festivals. I'm out of topics, guys. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm about to run out of here anyway pretty soon.
Do you think it changed the flavor at all ever?
I don't remember it making the huge difference. on flavor, but to be honest with you, it's been a good bit since I've used them. I don't remember why I stopped. I think I remember I ran out of the filters, and that's the thing is I'm not a big fan of ordering shit online. I don't know. I'm just old and stuck in my ways or whatever that lazy maybe more of it. But I used to be able at my local smoke shop go down there and just buy them there, which and I
Right.
use the fuck out of them, but they don't carry them anymore. So it's like if I want them, I have to actually order them online to get them, and that's kind of a pain in the ass to me, so I don't do it. So that's why I haven't been using it, and so I don't have like recent memory on it. But to me, I never don't think that ever had that never was a factor. Is surprising to me too how much when I was using, especially the flour, when I was using it in the bong, how much that it filtered out and what they looked like after just a day's use or something. Like sometimes they would turn almost black on that backside. And I'm like, damn, fucking.
Yeah.
That's like so. I'm glad that it's like catching the tar. Now you do it on the when you're doing the dabs, and the only thing it catches is like the oil that's condensating, that's not staying as a gas, which
Right.
is
So that
probably
was like blonde in color, probably, right?
yeah, exactly. And but it's like which is still probably a good thing. It's probably not good to, take the straight oil, but it's probably not terrible bad to take straight oil. It's like a edible, I imagine. Um, but
But
that takes a lot longer to like when you'd have to change that filter out because that one doesn't get as much. So I don't know that it would to answer your question, it's removing some stuff. So I think it's going to change the flavor like in a little bit by removing how much is getting into your mouth to taste anything. But I think it's the same flavor that whatever gets through is still the same flavor. I don't think it's like taking just some of the flavor out so it actually changes the flavor itself.
right, right. It just might be less if anything. Yeah.
Yeah, just that might not be as strong maybe of a flavor, but yeah, I don't remember it affecting the flavor so much. I
I
remember
tell you what,
like the smoothness. You didn't cough as much.
every pretty much every event I went to, I ended up getting either not. It's probably got to be cup cough because it's either from the smoke because it wasn't like I was sick. Oh, except for the one time, which I thought maybe I got the COVID, but other than that, yeah, my lung, I'd be coughing the next 2 days, 3 days. And I don't know, it's because I smoked enough weed in 2 days that would be like a month's worth, or is it because of all the people that were around me and smoking with them?
Yeah, probably like a combination of both of those
Full
things.
combo, yeah.
And for me, there's like a third thing usually. Like it's like I had to like fly to get there, and so now I'm stuck in an airplane
Oh
too,
yeah.
with everybody
Yep.
breathing the same air and sharing the same whatever. So I usually get immune challenged for sure, but I've been pretty lucky lately. So if I get something that's like a runny nose or something, that's something I can deal with. Thank God. I hate being sick. Yeah, the
Yeah,
smoke.
I hate it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it.
I love it.
Unless I can. Well, good. I hope you have it more than me then, if you love it so much.
No.
Josh Buck is insisting I get an Airizer EQ. It's like a volcano, but 140 definitely worth it. So it sounds like a flower vaporizer. But then flower vaporizers have their own dangers, Josh, and that's if you buy, well, I don't do that, but if you were to buy cannabis that was on the legal market that hasn't been tested or was tested before it started to grow mold, for example, vaping temperatures sometimes don't go high enough to kill the molds because they're at such a low, they're not going to combustion. Um, so you want to make 100% sure, like maybe be a home grower and make sure you do it yourself, then you can be for sure. But that's one thing I want to stress on vaping, and I'm not against vaping. I think it's not even an argument. If you talk to a medical professional, it's probably safer than smoking because you don't get all the, well, combustion causes the, like the tars and the particulate, the carbon. But vaping also doesn't get to this high temperatures. So normally some of those molds and stuff like people that grow outdoors and stuff maybe deal with are vaporized at the really high temperatures of a a Bic lighter, for example. But vaporizing doesn't, right? So it's like so precise at that temperature of what you're going to vaporize the cannabinoids at, but not cause combustion. That could be a danger. It could be a hidden danger. So just make sure your cannabis is 100% for sure clean, and vaporizing is probably the way to go for sure. Rolling Smoke says vapes don't get me high. It all depends, man. Yeah, I've never found yet a flower vaporizer that, and I, to be fair, haven't tried this Thor's and Bickle, and I haven't tried this Airizer either. Um, that when I vaped it, I didn't think that it didn't change the flavor of the cannabis that when I smoked it normally. And to me, it always pushes it towards popcorn, burnt popcorn flavor when I'm smoking vaporized bud. And people say, well, you're vaporizing it too hot then if it tastes like that. And I was like, well, I'm not getting anything if I vaporize lower. So maybe I need to try a different device. I won't argue that, but I'm not going to buy another one. I bought two or three and was not impressed. So it would take a company like reaching out and like, here's a device for you to try for free. We guarantee you're going to love it or whatever. And then I'd give it a try, or even better yet, find a friend who's got one that's swearing by it and saying they love it already. And then I could go try it. That's kind of what it would take for me, I think. And it can't take, and I'm also picky. It can't take be a pain in the ass to clean and stuff like that when I can just fucking rip a bowl in a bong, man. Uh, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
It's healthier.
I agree though, Spartan. Whenever I've had 3 or 4 different kind of vaporizers for flower, and by the time you, yeah, it tastes
Man, you got so bad. So bad you had to censor yourself. You're like, it tastes like censor. I
I
can't say this
dropped
on
right
air.
off. What? Yeah, that was bizarre. It tastes like popcorn, and yeah, it's no good. I don't know how or why, but when you literally burn it with a flame, it tastes better to me. I don't get it. So, and I had like 3 or 4. It always ends up the same, like burnt popcorn, and it's not good to me.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100%. But Genetic Mary Farms, and this is what other people have told me too in chat. He says, I was never happy with flower vapes until I got to try a volcano. A Storm and Bickle converted me. Loved the whip over the bag. That's another thing I saw was is like as a podcaster, a bag is a no-go, right? You're not gonna want to hear crinkle, crinkle, crinkle as you're fucking with a bag. Also, like the visual of that's probably not the greatest. That looks weird. Um,
Yeah, but Spartan, you must have done a volcano. It actually doesn't taste like popcorn. No, that
that's what
that
he's
one was
saying here. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what.
yeah, that one was good, dude. I had like yeah,
Okay.
I don't
So
know
you've
if it's
tried
the
that.
temperature. Yeah, I've tried the volcano, dude. That's like
Okay.
legit. But you're right. It's like kind of like dabbing. You like it's a whole big procedure. Kind of it feels like it anyway. I
Like a
didn't
whole lot
own
of
one.
shit.
You
He
need the
says the
bag.
whip to the whip over the bag. So like the
Oh,
whip
okay.
that
So,
intrigues me. The whip would be cool, just
that's
sitting
even
there like a.
yeah. I guess yeah. That might be the go-to, but I definitely can say I sucked a few bags and it would taste good to the end, and it was like smooth as fuck, dude. Yeah, it was really, really good. I was impressed. The very first volcano hit I ever took, I was like, wow, man, I need to get me one of these. I never did though.
I might have to fucking do that one of these days and spoil myself with one. Another thing I like about the bag, just the thinking about it, is filling it up with, whatever the perfect temperature to vape it at, to get it in the bag, and then let that fucker just cool down in the bag, and then take a cool hit. And then, that's gonna help you not cough and be smoother experience too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and like I'm a stickler for that stale smoke in the bong, whatever. But it seems like it didn't get stale even because it took me more than one pull to finish it off, and it still tasted
Nice.
good at the end. So
Oh man,
yeah,
just you
nothing
saying that
worse.
the stale
Yeah,
bong is like that. I would rather blow it the fuck out
yep.
take but then try to fucking take. Oh.
That is the worst thing that you could do to a human is like have that smoke in there
Yeah.
for a while, then hand it
Yeah,
to
I will say
somebody.
that I don't care about flavor until you talk about stale farm fucking smoke. Now
That
I
is
care
the
about
worst,
flavor.
right?
Oh, dude. Absolutely. All right, well, I am going to have to go out to the Michigan Bros Grow Show here, starting up here in about 15 minutes. So I will have to bear you guys a fair adieu. But much love to everybody in chat. Thanks for hanging with us, just shooting the shit. Thanks for Noah and Tao just sitting here shooting the shit with us, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little fucking scared when I logged in. It was just Jack, and he was saying he was gonna have to maybe not hang out. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck am I gonna talk about for fucking 2 hours? So, thanks for
Well, you did pretty
guys.
good because I wasn't as talkative as I could have, should have been, I'm sure.
No, but I felt like we were just shooting the shit, and it was easy. We didn't have to
It was good.
It
reach
was
for
fun.
and chat too. Chat fucking bailed me out too. They had some good questions. But anyway, much love, anybody, everybody. We'll see you all next week, and keep growing.
Yeah, go as well,
Keep
everybody.
growing. Okay, well, that looks like it's just the two of us here.
Are we still live on YouTube or not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, now. So, what plants do you have growing in your room right now?
Duct tape,
A permanent
dosilato,
marker?
permanent marker, and Sherbaceo. Here, I can here I'll go out my room here. I actually was just out there. I've been working and stuff, but while we've been doing the show and defoliate and just doing stuff I always do. But yeah, I didn't want to I thought it was a cool conversation. I didn't want to interrupt, you know what I mean? So
Well, no, plants are always better than talk. We much rather see plants. Yeah.
yeah, you go. I mean, you know, there was a lot of good old school nostalgia. You know, that stuff's all cool, man. I dig all that. And yeah, how old are you?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I'm going to be 28 next year.
yeah. Okay, me too. Yeah, I'm gonna be 46 next month, so I'm sure I'm an old guy, you know. But hey, I have a lot of fun growing, and I'm always learning. You know, I'm still learning stuff new. So.
Hell yeah. No, I'm going to be considerably older than that, but
Oh hell yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Nothing wrong with that. All right, here we
So,
go.
you've been growing all of them except for the permanent marker for a while, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the Sherbaceo, that's this one right here. This is like probably like week five, 5.5. I've been growing that for about a year. And then duct tape I've grown off and on for quite a while. This is that little one with the bottoms I was talking about.
Right, you left in.
There's some trim bins down there. It gets going pretty well. These ones right here, I put in a little earlier than I normally would like to put them in, but they're doing all right. And
Yeah.
it just kind of looks like they kind of needed a little more nitrogen than I gave them. You know, I didn't really front load them enough, and they're just catching up. And I thought about giving them a little bit, but I don't normally do that, so I'm not gonna just rock them
Yeah,
a
man.
little
Let
bit.
them leach it out, dude. I'm telling you, it's going to be
Yep, that's what
killer.
I'm doing. Yep. Oh yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah,
You do that when you've been doing it a little while. You figure it out. Just let it go.
I,
They catch up. You know.
I recently watched a thing where they were saying how uh, basically they went through each nutrient, the NPK at least, and plants that were deprived of every single, like they did all, deprived of nutrient, nitrogen one, then they deprived it of phosphorus, and then they deprived it of potassium. And every single time the least nutrients the plant got, the more cannabinoids and terpenes it got. But that doesn't work with the yield. So it was an interesting thing that they found, though.
Yeah. My mentor. He was like, one of the cool things he taught me, was right off the bat was, if you're gonna give your plants any nutrients, no matter what, he gives it water only for 3 weeks. I do no matter what, 14, but sometimes I'll do 16, 17, 18, 19 days, because I'm not just gonna pull
Yeah.
a plant down. It just depends. But I always do that. I always do that. Water only. And I don't do like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like pouring like 2 gallons to a plant and flushing it. But
Right.
I'll let it run off a little bit here and there, and and I always just pour straight water in it. You can give it a little molasses to, that third week. It'll just kind of feed the microbes and whatever you got in there, and you can do that too. There's things you can do that are fun, and yeah, I always have fun. Always have fun
Yeah.
out here messing around.
People have said giving it calcium, or were they saying calcium till the end is a good idea? And I forget something else, but yeah, I don't know. But that's what people have said.
What do you give your plants for calcium?
Well, I do like organic, so I pretty much, amend my soil at the beginning and then let it go to the end. I'll do earthworm casting tea, kind of. It won't be a tea. I'll just mix some earthworm casting with water, shake it up, and apply it to my plants.
Top
Other
dress
than
it in,
that,
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't do any bottled nutrients. I do have a bunch of different shit that bioag. I have some bioag things, and I have some. I want to sing hydros on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I use a little humic fulvic from the bioag, but other than that, yeah, I'm not adding much of anything.
That's
but
beautiful,
I
man.
was just pointing out that people do claim that calcium's all right to keep feeding until the end, and a couple other things, which is probably I don't know.
Everybody does their own thing. I like to use some calcium for sure. I usually go 5 weeks. I'll go 5 weeks, and then I'll knock it out. And I know guys that go 6. So, but like I said, I don't give it nothing but water for at least 20 to 25% of the grow. Water, and more than that when you figure in, But I mean, I'm talking straight at the end. So
okay, right. So in between, you do some regular water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. It's always fun going out there and figuring out. I mean, man, it's hard. 3 lights. I normally just do 2, but in the winter I'll do 3. And you wouldn't think, oh, that third light, it's a lot more than you think. You know what I mean? It's 33% more trimming, it's 33% more transplanting, it's 33% more cloning, everything. It's everything.
Yeah.
33% more hauling water. I always tell everybody I don't grow plants, I haul water. So
you get 33 more harvest at the end though too if you do it right. Not going with maybe more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you do for like the small stuff on the bottom? How high up do you go, or do you just let it go natural the whole way?
You mean as far as like a
lollipopping? No, the skirt, like the bottom of the plant. You know what I mean? Like if you got like a 4-foot plant, like how much are you letting flower? Are you gonna like let 2 feet? You gonna let 3 feet? You gonna go just let all that stuff at the bottom?
Well, it all depends. Yeah, I lollipop, and then it depends too. Like the last one I did was all those auto flowers. I tried not trimming a lot, but then at the end it was just like ridiculous. The thing shot up into the light. They were like 5 feet tall, and I cut like a ton of branches off the bottom. But yeah, they were like light starving too. That was like I just wanted to grow plants, but it worked out great, man. People like it, and I like it, so it was awesome. But it depends on a lot of factors. Sometimes, like if I'm growing for production, or I try and keep them short, and I'll take, if I start from seed, I'll take I'll wait till they get like six nodes. I'll take the bottom one or two nodes off, and I'll leave and I'll top it, and there'll be 3 to 4 nodes that I keep the branches. So there's either 4 or 6, sometimes 8 branches coming up, but I'll leave it all. And then sometimes if I don't top them at all, I'll trim out the bottom quite a bit. Yeah, it all depends.
How was living in New York? Did you like it? I mean, obviously you moved, but I mean, what was it like?
No,
I've never even been there.
New York was better all the way around, man. And I fucked up, but especially now that it's like legal there, it's like really legal there now. People grow in their backyards, but you could do it anywhere. I'm convinced anywhere in the states in America you could grow good weed, awesome weed.
Oh yeah,
Outside,
no,
even outside, yeah.
I, man, I got friends in Hawaii,
I'm
on the Big
jealous.
Island, and oh, and man, make it happen. I'm telling you, I got a friend. Uh, I've known her since knew her since I was 18. She passed away at like 67, and she told me I don't know how many years from when I first started going to Hawaii, and the first time I went was like 13 years ago. I've been there 4 times, and I told her, I said, "Man, you just gotta go. You just gotta go." And she's like, I'd go over to her house, and she get her tax returns. She was an older lady, and she had a new TV, and she was gonna go to the beach around here. And I'm like, "No, no, you gotta go." And then she died of cancer, and she never went. And man, it is freaking epic. I'm telling you, as good as you think it is, better. Especially as like a stoner, like that type of dude. Oh my god,
I
it's
can
just
only
such a
imagine.
killer vibe. It's such a killer vibe. And I've been to Kauai, I've been to Oahu, I've been to Maui, and I've been to the Big Island. And they all have their own, they all have their own things. But Kauai and Oahu, I didn't really have a rental car. For sure, you have to have a rental car because there's so much cool stuff that you just got to go exploring. And 10 days is pretty good. A week's not long enough. 2 weeks is kind of a lot, but I mean, it just depends on, you know, but
Yeah,
oh
what
yeah. Anyways, I have ADHD. Anyways, yeah. Like my friend there, he's a stoner, and I'm just like, man, for what you're paying for this weed, like I should just come here and just grow some good weed. But you can see that the humidity would be a problem. But I
right,
mean, it's just like anything else, man. It's just a puzzle. You got to solve it. And if
right.
you've been growing, you can figure it out. You know
Figure it
what I
out.
mean? Like,
And I'm sure there's obviously, well, you know what? I tell the story like back in the day, the best weed I ever smoked, someone said it was from Hawaii.
mm-hmm.
And I believed them. I mean, it was like fluorescent green. The shit kind of like glue in the dark almost. Smelled like heaven, and it was just awesome. But for all I know, it could have been grown in someone's basement. But it only came
Right.
around. It only came around like once a year. From yeah, it was just the best. But like I'm saying, I don't know if that's what it's from. But I bet you there's like indigenous strains that grow in Hawaii, or strains that people brought there that they grow outside that are made for Hawaii that are just awesome. That like you won't have to worry about the humidity or whatever. That's what the plant would like. I
Yeah.
would love
And
to go to Hawaii. It has all the best shit: coffee, chocolate,
oh, yeah.
pineapples, and
Oh,
cannabis. You could all be
oh
grown.
yeah.
The best shit in the world is in Hawaii. That's got to be the Garden of Eden that cracked off of the Middle East or wherever.
All I know is if I didn't have kids that first time that I went, I would have just stayed. I would have just figured it out, got a job there. I mean, it's so beautiful. And I never had been to the Big Island, and my friend moved there. My friend sold his house here, you can buy property in some of these like jungle towns there. I'm talking dirt cheap, man. And I have a buddy who lives there, an artist and friend, and he built everything. Like you can build like 10 by 20 houses without a permit. He's got like this crazy water catchment. He's got solar panels. He's complete off grid. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, man.
Probably loving life.
Oh
All right.
yeah. Yep.
It looks like we got to start get going. Let people get to the Michigan Bros Grow Show.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Why don't you tell everyone where you're at, and if you want to get bothered, where they can find you, boss.
Yeah, I'm Noah the Grow on Instagram. Find me there and see everybody next week.
All right. the American One on the YouTube, and the American One underscore with underscore Ekeens on the IG. Thanks everyone in chat for hanging with us tonight, and we'll see you either next Sunday or somewhere in between. Have a great week. Keep growing, and yeah, peace out, everybody.
Happy growing.